So obviously the hardest hurdle, or maybe not obviously, but my assumption would be the hardest hurdle would be losing your eyesight, right?
Yeah,
And so what was that like mentally at first?
that was really, really hard. As I'm sure you could imagine, especially 'cause I had perfect eyesight. Like I didn't have glasses or anything. And I think the worst part about it was nobody wanted to tell me. Um, and my so my brother was the one who actually told me.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool, man. Hey, Adriel, I appreciate also the BlindNinja, right?
Yeah,
I appreciate you being a little bit flexible with your schedule and coming on the show, man. So thank you.
thanks for letting me be on it. But it's exciting.
Awesome, man. Yeah, first podcast, right? First time sharing your story, I guess.
Yeah. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while, and just wasn't really sure how to really go about it. So I'm really glad for this chance to share my story and my message. I think it'll help a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm all about that, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I joined the Navy back in 2009. I was in the Navy for 9 years as a bosun mate. I
Booyah.
ser- Yep. I served in San Diego for the most part for the first 5 years. Most of that was with Amphibious Construction Battalion 1 in Coronado. And then from there, I went to Groton, Connecticut, submarine base, where I went for shore duty. That's where I picked up first class. And then August 27th, 2017 was when I was in a motorcycle accident that caused me to lose my sight. And since then, I've just been trying to kick ass and take names.
You want to tell us about the story with your accident?
Yeah, sure. So it was a Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I was actually riding out to meet with a motorcycle club that is for veterans, firefighters, and police. And I just thought it'd be cool. I was like, yeah, why not meet new people, other people, like-minded people who want to ride bikes and stuff like that. So we went, had lunch together, and then we had to, and then I left because I actually had to go to work. Um, and sorry, this is kind of hard for me, but
No, it's good, man. Take your time.
so so yeah, I was so I left. I got to this intersection, and I don't know what, I went to pass a car on the left, and I don't know what possessed me to do that, because I know, from riding before and having been hit before. This is actually my third accident, but I know better than one to to be doing any kind of passing or anything like that at an intersection,
Mm-hmm.
and especially not illegally passing. So it was a single lane road, and what happened was a car in front of me. I saw the light; seemed like it was pretty far away. So I passed the car that was in front of me, and then there was another car in front of that car that I did not see. So then at that point, I was stuck, and I had to commit to passing. And then in passing the second car, a third car turned in front of that car, who didn't see me. So then I T-boned it.
So
'Cause,
you T-boned that car.
yeah,
Okay. And you had all your PPE on, your protective equipment,
yeah.
or yeah.
Thank
So
God for that. Yeah,
did you have a full face helmet or just a
I
half?
did. I
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
And it's funny because people used to give me shit for wearing a full face helmet with a Harley. Like,
Mm-hmm.
dude, come on, you wear a Harley. Like, who wears a full face helmet? And I was always like, man, I don't want to mess up my face. But even though the helmet probably did save my life, it also what happened was the helmet basically was what crushed my face.
Mm.
So from the impact, the helmet flexed inward, and that's what broke everything.
So how fast were you going?
Probably about 40, 50 miles per hour.
Yeah. And then so did you pass out or how did that?
No, I was wide
Yeah.
awake the whole time. My arm was broken, also my left arm. At that time, you have so much adrenaline, you're not really feeling any pain.
Mm.
And I was trying to get up, and every time I got up, I kept falling. And I thought it was just because I was dizzy, but it was actually because my arm was broken. And so every time I put my arm down to stand, it would just, fall under it. And I didn't think I was blind. I thought, because I couldn't see right away, and I checked the visor, and my visor was still intact. So I thought, oh, okay, well, my eyes are good, And I thought, it's not like the visor cracked and stabbed me in the eyes. But my mouth was like broken. I thought I lost all my teeth
Hmm.
because I'd moved my tongue around and I could only feel like two or three teeth. And yeah, so I tried getting up, and people were like, "Stop moving. You need to really like stop." But I was like, "What? Like, guys, I'm fine." But I really wasn't. I was bleeding a lot, and I didn't want to lay down either because at that point I would start drowning in my blood essentially.
Oh, so you had the
So
wherewithal to know that.
yeah, well, I wouldn't say the wherewithal, just okay, I feel like I'm gonna die right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so literally, if I laid down, I could just feel like everything going down my throat, and I couldn't breathe. That's why I had to get a tracheotomy. I don't know if you guys can see it through the camera, but there's
Yeah, I see the scar in your neck. Yeah.
yeah, so pretty gnarly scar when the EMTs got there, they had to do that. Um,
So let's summarize your injuries for people just to try to kind of paint the picture. So obviously instant blindness. Your mouth is broken, so we're talking about your jaw area.
my entire face.
Okay.
Yeah, so my mandible, the my cheekbones. So my face is actually had a really good. It's a lot of plates. I
Mm-hmm.
have metal all the way up here on my forehead. My frontal bone broke. My cheeks broke. These all metal. My nose. Yeah, like I said, my mandible. All this. The top of my mouth was broken.
But you
Um,
kept all your teeth.
I kept all my teeth.
You
I
can't go through a metal detector, but at least you have your
yeah.
at least you have your teeth, right?
And I don't know if it was just like the blood loss and stuff, or maybe like the realization of how severe it was. But I definitely started getting like kind of like, oh shit, like I think I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that talk with God, and I was like, is this the end? Am I done now? And and I heard that voice, and it was like, no, I'm not done with you yet. And shortly thereafter, I got put under anesthesia and helicopter to the hospital where I was treated. They had to do like the immediate life-saving surgeries at the time when I got there. And then about a week after, once the swelling went down, that's when they did all like the reconstructive surgery,
Okay.
the plastic surgery or whatever, putting the plates in, and brain surgery also. When people think of blindness, everyone thinks like, oh, you're totally blind, you can't see anything. But there's actually a lot of levels to blindness, which
Mm-hmm.
was something that I was ignorant to before my accident. So there's people that are blind that have, different amounts of vision, whether you're just legally blind to some people can see shapes and colors, and some people only see shadows. Uh, there's a lot of variation, but basically they wanted to know where I was going to be on that spectrum, and obviously they wanted me to be as close to having vision as possible.
Yeah. But ultimately you have zero vision now.
Zero vision, yeah.
Yeah. So, how does the transition go from okay? So you've had all the surgeries now, right? So your arm is fixed. You're probably in a cast. They've sewed up your trach. I mean, they've done the brain surgery. They've put in the plates. Now you can't see, right? And you're having to deal with this. Like, how was that?
So
Other than the blindness, I mean, you were pretty able to. I mean, even just looking at you, I wouldn't know that.
yeah,
You had all this reconstructive surgery, right?
Yeah.
So obviously the hardest hurdle, or maybe not obviously, but my assumption would be the hardest hurdle would be losing your eyesight, right?
Yeah.
And so what was that like mentally at first?
That was really, really hard. As I'm sure you could imagine, especially 'cause I had perfect eyesight. Like I didn't have glasses or anything. And I think the worst part about it was nobody wanted to tell me. Um, and my so my brother was the one who actually told me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because so my eyes were covered and I couldn't really open my eyelids anyway because of like the stitches they had to the globes. But yeah, like I said, nobody was telling me, and when that was along with my brother, and I had to ask him, and he told me.
Yeah.
um, and yeah, I mean, as grateful as I was for being alive and not having still having everything else being in as good shape as it was. It's hard to look at that. It's hard to look at the positives at that point. I just thought my career was over, my life was over. You know, uh,
It's hard to see the light when you're in the tunnel still, you know.
yeah,
It is. I've been there too, man. It's a hard place to be, and it's like they say, the journey of 1,000 steps, or the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. And that's the deal, man. You just got to take each step, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So it's not, you can't even focus that you're never going to see again. You just got to worry about, how am I going to get out of this bed? How am I going to get out of this hospital? How am I going to get back to a normal life, right? So
yeah,
how did that transition end up working for you? I mean, obviously, your career is in fact over. I mean,
yeah,
you can't can't operate in any function on active duty with zero eyesight, right? So,
yeah. Eventually, once I got stable, I went to the blind rehabilitation program through the VA.
oh, okay.
Yeah, where I was able to start learning about what life could be like being blind.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have their gripes and complaints about the VA. I mean, I definitely do, but I think that the Navy's, or not the Navy, but the VA does a lot of great stuff for the visually impaired veterans. And I talked to like some civilians that are blind, and I'm so grateful for the VA because they've provided so many resources that have been a huge help for me transitioning.
So you get home, you're transitioning, you're learning how to groom yourself, how to cook. At what point does life start? You know, Obviously, was there some? For me, I can only imagine that there had to have been some dark thoughts during this time, right? I mean, did depression set in? Did you have any suicidal ideations? Did you have loneliness, anxiety, worry, self doubt? Was any of this in?
All the above.
Yeah.
um, yeah, so I guess I'll start from the beginning, but at that point, like I said, I thought my life was over. I really didn't want to live anymore. And I, I just, one, it was, even if I wanted to, if I was ready to like make an action, it was kind of difficult being in the hospital because I'm basically tied to a bed with all this crap. So if I wanted to hurt myself, it was a little difficult. But I thought about all the people that I had already lost to suicide, and I just thought of, I was like, man, like I just remembered how much I hurt from that, and how much those people who did do that, and how their family felt afterwards, and I didn't want to put anyone through that. That's really what.
I think that's an important message. And that even if you're going to be selfish and make it about yourself, you have to know that when you have suicidal ideations and you're thinking of a way to kill yourself where it's not going to hurt someone else, it's impossible. That's
Yeah.
just the reality. It is impossible. It's going to impact someone, probably many people. And I mean, I've been there too, man, where I've had those thoughts and it's like, okay, well, how can I do this where it just really won't impact anybody? And every solution, like if you looked at a math problem, every solution was infinite pain for
Yeah.
those around me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I would think like maybe there's a way that it's less graphic, so it won't be so bad, or maybe I'll find some way to make my own body disappear,
right.
or anything, you know. But then it just it comes down to it. It's like, man, like, oh, my mother, you know, like I could just imagine. And then it's not and my brother and my family, just like my friends, like, wow, like what are they gonna go through?
Yep.
You know, they've been through enough just knowing that I'm here in this hospital.
Did you ever seek out help?
I didn't really get much help, which unfortunately,
Where did you reach? Who did you talk to?
through the VA, or not even through the VA. Well, some stuff through the VA, some stuff back when I was on active duty, while I was getting ready to get separated,
Mm-hmm.
and the way the the way the system was, it was like, okay, well, you'd have to set up an appointment, a 2-hour appointment, just to see who's going to treat you,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're going to get treated. But then it's a month before you get seen for your first 2-hour interview, and then another 2 hour, another month before you see someone. And I had a really unpleasant experience too, where the nurse that was trying to do the triage stuff to schedule these appointments, I didn't like the way she was talking to me, because really she wasn't talking to me, she was talking about me. And I just got mad and I left. And I just had, having, I guess, my brother, I got to give a lot of credit to him. He was a big help for me throughout all of that.
Conversations are good, and so I'd also encourage anybody, if they see somebody that is going through a struggle, reach out and talk to that person, because you just don't know, you might save a life. And
Yeah.
I personally believe that I have saved lives, man. And I'm not in any way, shape, or form qualified. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing after my name, PhD, DD, and there's nothing after my name that says I'm qualified to do that. But I know I
Yeah.
have, because we can all help each other, man. So
Yeah. I tell everyone that same thing. Just, if you're the one that's hurting, reach out to anyone. It doesn't matter who you feel comfortable talking to, but just talk to them. And to anyone else, always make yourself available, because you don't know whose life you're gonna have that impact on, that you could really save someone's life. And um, it's
yeah,
important.
that's what this whole project is about, man.
Mhm.
Yeah.